Did playing too much punk rock made me a bad musician? Do I only know how to play power chords? Do I suck at everything else? Well, no, but yes. It's complicated. There's a common stereotype in the musicians world that punk rockers are the worst musicians. Cause punk rock songs, you know, they're really easy to play. You don't really need any theory and pretty much anyone can do it. So what they say is, if you're a punk rocker, you're probably not as good as a jazz player or a metal player. Well, things are not that simple. And there are many factors that make a musician a good musician. You cannot just take into account knowledge and skill. But let's just use me as an example. I'm already out here on YouTube talking to a camera, so why not, right? When I first started playing guitar, at that point in my life, I hadn't actually ever listened to punk rock. All that I did with my new guitar all day long was try to play Red Hot Chili Peppers songs. How long will I slide? They were my favorite band, you know, it was the 90s. But probably 1 month into my first guitar lessons, something that would change me forever happened. Every year, my school had a Secret Santa party. And that specific year, the kid who drew my name gave me my very first punk rock album, Americana by The Offspring. I have never listened to anything like that before. It was so raw, so angry, but funny and simple. And my little teenager self just loved it. It was all I needed to supplement my own anger and frustrations in life. And you know, when you're a teenager, when you identify with something, you become that something. So, from that point on, I was officially a punk rock kid. All the albums that I bought from that point on were punk rock albums. Green Day, Blink-182, NoFX, Millencolin, Bad Religion, probably one of my favorite punk rock bands to this day. The list just goes on and on and on. But the most fun part of all of that is that me, as a guitar newbie, could play those songs. I could actually play my favorite songs even though I wasn't that good at that point. In fact, from that point on, I pretty much only played punk rock songs. It was power chord after power chord after power chord, no technique training, just punk rock songs. Why would I spend hours practicing a scale if I could just play a full Blink-182 song right then and there? It was much more fun. But as I got a little older, I slowly started getting interested in other styles, in other genres of music. And then I started trying to play these other genres of music. And yep, you guessed it, my technique was lacking. So what I did was what pretty much anyone else would do. I joined a music school. So this is the point where I turn everything around, right? And I tell you guys that I studied so hard and I became an amazing musician and everything changed and now I can play whatever I want, right? Well, it's not that simple again. The thing is, in the school that I joined, most of the other kids there were either jazz players or Brazilian popular music players or metal players. And as soon as they found out that my favorite band was Blink-182, they made fun of me. They really looked down on me. So, me as a punk rock kid, I got pissed off, right? So what did I do to get back to all those kids who were making fun of me? Well, instead of studying hard and trying to prove them wrong, I chose not to study at all and I doubled down in my punk rock attitude. So you think I'm a shitty guitar player? But as a shitty guitar player, I will beat you all as a musician. Because there's more into being a musician than just actually playing music, believe it or not. So whenever there was a school presentation and I went up that stage to play with my band, I made sure I was the worst musician, my guitar playing was dirty, but I had the best songs and the best stage attitude. All the other players went up there with their little stuck-up attitude and just looked at their hands while they're playing, never interacted with the audience, and just played horrible, boring songs. But I was playing for the audience, I was telling jokes, and I was having fun. So guess who got more cheers? Guess who got more eyes watching? The shitty punk rock kid. So at that point in my life, I actually got praised for my bad choices. So at that point, there was no turning back. But since then, many things in my life have happened. Many of my bands have come and gone, most of them failed, and here I am at 36 years old, still talking about punk rock. But how do I feel about it now? Was punk rock good or bad for me? Well, to be honest, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Since I grew up, I actually started liking jazz and pop and Brazilian popular music and, god damn it, even a little bit of metal. And yes, many times I try getting into playing these other styles of music, but my technique is still lacking. I spent the formative years of my life, of my guitar playing life, playing just punk rock. And everybody who's my age knows how much easier it is to learn things when you're younger than when you're older. So in a way, I wish I had practiced more. But I also wish that those kids weren't assholes and didn't make fun of me. And I also wish that I had better teachers and better guidance. But I didn't at that point. That was the hand that was dealt to me. And since I grew up, many times I've tried to improve my guitar techniques. I've studied jazz, I've studied scales. I tried really hard to improve. But I've noticed something while I was trying really hard to improve. I believe there's an actual physical limitation to my skill. Because no matter how hard I try, I always end up hitting a wall. It's weird, my fingers are just too big and too squishy. And I know people say you can play guitar with whatever hand you have, but I've seen most of my favorite guitar players and their hands don't look nothing like mine. Believe me when I tell you, these fingertips were not built for playing guitar. So thinking about it that way, punk rock didn't actually take away the opportunity for me being a better musician. Punk rock actually gave me the chance to be a musician. Cause when I was a kid and I was starting to play punk rock, if I didn't start to play punk rock, I went into something more complicated and I started hitting that wall because of my talents and physical limitations, maybe I would have given up completely from music. But the simplicity of punk rock gave me a chance, an opportunity to actually play full songs and also learn how to write full songs, learn how to record music, leading to where I am right here, right now, talking to you. I'm still a shitty punk rock player, but I'm a good songwriter, I'm a good music producer, and a happy man who gets to make music as part of his life. So what is my advice after all of this talking? Well, if you're starting to learn an instrument right now, definitely don't focus on just one genre of music. Pick like 3 different ones and keep practicing these 3 styles, because that will give you more versatility, I believe, and the ability to learn other music genres as well. Because you know what? I've worked with a lot of musicians in my lifetime, and sometimes you get the best metal player, the best jazz player, and you just tell them, hey man, can you play All the Small Things by Blink-182? And it never sounds right, it sounds horrible. So maybe they should have also learned how to play different styles of music when they were starting out. Not just us, punk rock kids. So that's why diversity is key, but also don't forget to have fun. That's very important, because if you don't have fun, you're gonna give up, 100%. And the balance of the boring practice with the fun stuff, I guess that's the most important thing when you're beginning to learn anything. The fun will keep you going, and the boring will keep you improving. So that's it for today's video. I know it was a bit different, but it's the beginning of the year, and you know, when things are transitioning like one year to the other, I start thinking about all of my life choices, and that's why I get a little bit introspective. But let me know if you also like these kind of talkative videos, and I'll make more in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you like what I do, press all the buttons around me in this world that help me right now, and I see you all next time. Thank you and bye.